How do you find the domain of a function from its graph? Imagine you're looking at a picture of a function drawn on a graph. You want to know all the possible x values that work for this function. That's what finding the domain is all about. When you see a graph, the domain is the set of all x values where the graph exists without gaps or breaks. To find it, start by looking at the farthest points on the left and right where the graph is still present. The leftmost point shows where the function begins on the x-axis, and the rightmost point shows where it ends. If the graph stretches forever to the left, it means the domain includes all x values from -infinity up to a certain point. If it goes on forever to the right, the domain includes all x values from a certain point to +infinity. Now look carefully at the graph. If there are any gaps, holes, or breaks along the x-axis, those x values are not part of the domain. For example, if the graph jumps over a section or has a vertical line that the graph never touches, those x values are excluded. Sometimes, the graph approaches a vertical line but never touches it. These lines are called vertical asymptotes, and the x values where they occur are not included in the domain. For linear functions, which are straight lines, finding the domain is usually simple. If the line goes on forever in both directions, the domain is all real numbers. If the line stops at a certain point or has a break, then the domain is only the x values between those points. To sum up, look at the graph from left to right. Find the furthest points where the graph exists continuously. Note whether it extends infinitely or stops at certain points. Remember, the domain is all the x values where the graph is present without gaps. This visual approach helps you understand which inputs produce outputs in the function, especially for linear relationships and graphing. So next time you see a graph, just scan from left to right and mark the x values where the graph is visible. That's how you find the domain easily and clearly.